He is associate team of 12 chartered accountants and advocates and serving location at MP, Mumbai, Delhi, Jaipur, Kolkata, Pune. He has been co-opted member of the Indirect Tax Committee of CI at CF ICAI for term 23-24. He regularly writes articles in various publications, including ICAI publications. He is also invited as a speaker at various professional forums for deliberating on GST. We welcome C. Ankit Karanpuria for deliberating the webinar and start the webinar. We welcome Ankit ji.
Uh, Thank you very much, Team GST Corner, for inviting me for this webinar. And first of all, I would like to thank GST Corner team for always keeping us updating on various amendments under the GST law through their webinars, their articles, various publications. So kudos to the entire team of GST Corner, Nayan ji, Arpit ji, Ankit ji, and thank you very much for inviting me. So GST appeals is a very different and large topic, and it may require a whole day. So to discuss the nitty-gritties involved in the GST litigations. But considering a short period of time, I've tried to include all the latest issues covered in GST appeals. We will be going through the issues such as what are the legal provisions, what are the current issues involved, and what are the practical problem in drafting legal research, and if time permits, we'll also be seeing how to practically file the GST appeal on the GST portal. So let us start our deliberation for the today. So GST appeal is an opportunity for all of us, tax professional, chartered accountants, advocates, company secretaries, CMS, retired officers, who can appear before the GST authorities at pre-adjudication state, that is before the proper officer, and at the appellate stage before the first appellate authorities and tribunal. And appeal before High Court and Supreme Court, only advocates can appear. So it's a wonderful opportunity for chartered accountants, advocates, because we understand the business of the SSC, and no one can have much understanding of the law than us. So it's a great area of practice for all of us, and we can practice. It is a more revenue earning area where we can have lots of opportunities. So let us discuss what is an appeal. Appeal hoti kya hai? Appeal is a review of decision or order of a lower court by a higher court. सिंपल अपील कर हम बात करें कि एक लोअर कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को जब एक हायर कोर्ट रिव्यू करता है तो दैट इज एन अपील. द पर्सन हु हैज बीन एग्रीव्ड बाय द order of the lower court can always proceed to the higher court for granting a relief against the order of the lower court. So litigation सबसे पहले स्टार्ट कैसे होता है? आर्टिकल 14 ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बोलता है कि the state shall not deny any person equality before the law or equal protection of the law. It means that everyone should be treated equally before the law, and the person against whom an allegation, a punishment is being given, a legal charge has been created, should be given an equal opportunity to defend himself. Audi alterum patum is a rule which provides that no one should be condemned unhurt. Let the other side be also hurt as well. So whenever an allegation is made against someone, whenever a person is being punished, he should always be provided with an opportunity to defend himself. So अगर हम GST में बात करें कि जो सेक्शन 73, 74 में शोकॉज नोटिस इशू होता है, that is the in adherence to the principle of natural justice कि सामने वाले को if department is issuing some demand and asking for recovery of some demand, then the person to whom the demand is being asked shall be given a fair opportunity to defend his case. So no recovery should be met without issuance of show cause notice. If order has been passed for the recovery of demand without issuance of show cause notice, then such order would be null and void and is in violation of the Article 14 of the Constitution. Show cause notice must be very specific. It should not be based on some presumptions or assumptions. A proper opportunity of hearing shall be granted. Like in GST, Section 75(5) provides that even if the assessee does not ask for the opportunity of hearing, if the case is being decided against, then an opportunity of hearing shall be granted to the assessee. Another aspect of principle of natural justice is that the order passed by the authority shall be reasoned order, shall consider the reply of the assessee, and should incorporate the determination, basis of the determination of the order. If the adjudicating authority does not consider the reply of the assessee and pass a single line order, जनरली हम लोग देखते हैं कि वेट अथॉरिटीज जो जीएसटी में आई है, एसजीएसटी अथॉरिटीज, दे पास अ सिंगल लाइन ऑर्डर, आपका जवाब अमान्य है. सो this is not a well reasoned order. Various such orders have been challenged before the high courts, and high courts had set aside such order because they are in violation of section 75(6) of the CGST Act and is in gross violation of principle of natural justice. Adjudication order cannot go beyond the allegation in show cause notice. The officer should clearly describe the allegations in the show cause notice, amount of demand in the show cause notice, and while passing the order, he cannot take the grounds which were not provided in the show cause notice. If he takes such grounds, then this is also violation of principle of natural justice, because the person who is defending himself has not got the fair opportunity to defend on the new grounds which on which the demand has been confirmed in the adjudication order. So in nutshell, I want to just summarize that show cause notice is the initiation of litigation where the opportunity should be given to the assessee to defend his case. Let us understand what are the legal provisions under the law. So जीएसटी में डिमांड और रिकवरी कैसे इनिशिएट होती है? या तो आपके यहाँ पर कोई सर्च और सीजर हुआ होगा, या स्क्रूटनी हुई होगी सेक्शन 61 में, या डिपार्टमेंटल ऑडिट हुआ होगा, या सेक्शन 129 की प्रोसीडिंग्स हुई होंगी, जिसके कारण ऑफिसर को लगा कि आपसे टैक्स रिकवर करना चाहिए. देयर हैज बीन अ टैक्स व्हिच हैज बीन शॉर्ट पेड, नॉट पेड, और आईटीसी व्हिच हैज बीन wrongly availed or utilized. So after concluding this inquiries from various section or an independent investigation, officer may come to conclusion to issue a show cause to you for recovery of demand which he seems proper to be recovered from you. So section 73, 74 or 74A, which is yet to be notified, are the section for issuance of show cause notice for a person for recovery of demand. So section 73 is for non-fraud cases and section 74 is for fraud cases, that is willful suppression, misstatement. If there is an element of fraud with an intent to evade payment of tax, then notice has to be issued under section 74. We have to file a proper reply to sections notice issued under section 73 and 74. Once a reply is filed, an adjudicating officer who is a proper officer shall consider the reply of the assessee and pass a final order and a demand summary order in form DRC 07. If we are aggrieved by the order of the appellate authority, then by the adjudicating authority, then we can go for a appeal in the GST law. So appeal starts from the finalization of adjudication order. So section 121 provides certain orders which are not appealable orders, and rest all other order passed under GST law are appealable order. So section 125 provides a list of order, which is the order passed by Commissioner for transfer of proceedings, order for seizure or retention of books of accounts, order sanctioning prosecutions, and order of payment of tax in installment. So these are not the orders which are directly affecting the demand amount of the assessee. So these are the orders are not has been considered to be non-appellate orders as per section 121 of the GST Act. So let us understand the provisions of statutory provisions of appeal under the GST law. जीएसटी लॉ में अपील का मैकेनिज्म क्या होता है? एक बार आपके ऊपर डिमांड का ऑर्डर रेज हो गया, उसके बाद यू कैन गो टू फर्स्ट अपीलेट अथॉरिटी अंडर सेक्शन 107 ऑफ द सीजीएसटी एक्ट. if the issue involves relating to place of supply, अगर कोई भी एक issue order में place of supply से related है, then you have to go after the first appellate authority to the principal bench of the tribunal. And for the other issues, after the first appellate authority, if you are aggrieved by the order of the first appellate authority, you can go to the GST tribunal, which is a state bench. It is to be understood that the GST tribunal would be the last fact-finding authority. After that, on question of facts, the High Court will not be entertaining your appeals. So whatever evidences, issues relating to facts of the case are involved, it has to be dealt till the tribunal level. So after tribunal, you can appeal to High Court only in cases where there is a substantial question of law. If there is a question of law, then only you can go to the High Court. For example, in under Section 17(5), there is a litigation going that whether the credit of the works contract should be allowed for the owners of the mall when they are using these services for the further renting of the premises of their mall. So whether such type of credit would be allowed, disallowed under Section 75 or not, this is an interpretational issue. This is a substantial question of law pending before the courts. So only for such types of question, substantial question of law, we can approach the High Court, and thereafter the High Court, we can always appeal to Supreme Court. The appeal which has been filed before the principal bench, such appellate order can be challenged directly to the Supreme Court instead of going to the High Court. Now let us understand the important provisions of first appellate authority under the GST law. So many of us would be dealing in this commissioner appeal level, and many orders are pending. So this is a great opportunity for all of us. Now let us understand what is the nitty-gritties and what are the small points we should be understood before filing an appeal in the first appellate authority. So who can file the appeal before first appellate authority? Any person who is aggrieved with the order of adjudication authority. और यहाँ पर डिपार्टमेंट भी अपील फाइल कर सकता है अगर कमिश्नर को लगता है कि कोई ऑर्डर, ही कैन एग्जामिन द लीगैलिटी और प्रोप्राइटरी ऑफ द ऑर्डर, और एक अपने ऑफिसर को सबऑर्डिनेट टू हिम, ही कैन डायरेक्ट दैट यू आल्सो फाइल एन अपील अगेंस्ट द ऑर्डर ऑफ द एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी. सो फर्स्ट अपीलेट अथॉरिटी के पास एसएससी भी जा सकता है और डिपार्टमेंट भी जा सकता है. फर्स्ट अपीलेट अथॉरिटी कौन होगा? If the order has been passed by additional commissioner or joint commissioner, then appeal would lie to Commissioner Appeals. If the order has been passed by deputy commissioner, assistant commissioner or superintendent, then order would lie to the Joint Commissioner Appeals. Third thing, time limit. So time limit is very important in filing of appeals. If time limit is expired, then it would be will not be able to file our appeal. So we should know when we have been receiving the order. Under GST law, the time limit to file before the first appellate authority is 3 months from the date of communication of order. Generally, order is communicated through GST portal. Some state authorities send it through post also, but to file reply and to file an appeal, everything is online. We have to file appeal electronically only. So generally, the order is uploaded on the portal. So when the order is uploaded on the portal, we'll count the 3 months from the date of uploading the order on the GST portal. Suppose 3 months timeline is missed, so we have further 1 month period. We can go to the authority and show sufficient cause why we were not able to file within the time limit prescribed of 3 months. So generally, this ground may be due to ill health of the representative, due to ill health of the appellant, or any other reason. We have to provide a sufficient reason so that the period of 1 month is controlled by the authority. अब इशू ये आता है कि क्या 4 महीने के बाद हम अपील फाइल कर सकते हैं? If strictly speaking, GST law is a complete code in itself. It provides a maximum time limit of 4 months, and beyond 4 months, you cannot file the appeal. Certain taxpayer who could not file the appeal within the 4 months, they have approached the High Court and taking a plea that as per Limitation Act, we shall be allowed to file an appeal if sufficient cause has been shown. Regarding this, there are contradictory view of Kolkata High Court and Allahabad High Court, where Kolkata High Court has allowed the filing of appeal on a sufficient cause being shown beyond the 4 months. However, Allahabad High Court has restrained that the GST code law is a complete code in itself, and therefore no appeal can be filed beyond 4 months. So this is a litigative area. If you have missed the timeline, you can approach the High Court relying on this judgment. But we should make an effort that appeal should be filed within 3 months only. Otherwise, it would be difficult and it would be injustice for your client. So time limits has to be considered very carefully while going into the GST appeal. Now there comes a question of pre-deposit. In erstwhile regime also there was a provision of pre-deposit, and in this GST regime also there is a provision of pre-deposit. You have to pay 100% of the admitted tax liability. If you have admitted certain tax liability out of adjudication order, then you have to pay the same, and you need to pay 10% of the disputed tax liability. Whatever amount of tax which you are disputing, you need to pay 10% of the that before filing an appeal. Please carefully understood that this does not include penalty and interest. Where there is also penalty and interest, you need to only pay 10% of the disputed tax liability, and 25% of penalty in case order is passed under section 129 of the GST Act. So another issue comes is whether we can pay this pre-deposit through cash ledger or credit ledger. शुरू में कई बार ऐसा हो रहा था कि अपीलेट अथॉरिटी व्हेन वी यूज्ड टू फाइल द अपील यूज्ड टू से दैट आप कैश लेजर में ही 100 जो भी प्री डिपॉजिट है वो पे कीजिए. So many SSCs have approached the High Court, and High Courts have allowed that the payment of pre-deposit can be made through cash ledger or utilizing the credit ledger. यहाँ पर GST portal also allows you, while when you are filing an appeal, to utilize credit ledger for payment of pre-deposit. There is also circular number 172 of 2022 of the CBIC, wherein they do not specifically provide for payment of pre-deposit through credit ledger, but they provide that this credit ledger can be used for payment of output tax liability. So as of now, the position is that you can pay the pre-deposit through credit ledger also. So after payment of this pre-deposit, आपका जो बैलेंस अमाउंट का रिकवरी है, that would be 90% amount would be stayed. Next is opportunity of being heard. We have already discussed that before passing any order, authority should provide a proper opportunity of hearing to you. You can ask for adjournment. Maximum 3 times adjournment can be given on sufficient grounds. On showing sufficient grounds to the appellate authority, he can adjourn the hearing for 3 times. Another most important part is the passing of order. अपीलेट अथॉरिटी के पास पावर है कि वो ऑर्डर को कंफर्म कर सकते हैं, एडजुडिकेशन ऑर्डर को उसको मॉडिफाई कर सकते हैं, एंड दे कैन एनलिंग इट. इट मींस सेट असाइड द ऑर्डर पास्ड बाय द एडजुडिकेशन अथॉरिटी, बट दे कैन नॉट रेफर द केस बैक टू द एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी. अपीलेट अथॉरिटी एडजुडिकेशन अथॉरिटी को केस रेफर बैक नहीं कर सकता. इसलिए जो भी डॉक्यूमेंट्स है, एविडेंस है, since the appellate authority cannot refer back, it is also a fact-finding authority. We should try to produce all the relevant documents and evidences before the appellate authority. If appellate authority thinks that there should be enhancement of any fee, penalty, fine, or reduction of refund, then they should provide an opportunity of being heard to the person to defend himself for such enhancement. Then only he should pass the order for enhancement of any fee, penalty, or fine. Again, the principle of natural justice has been incorporated under this section. Even if the law does not provide for a specific provision for show cause notice, by virtue of Article 14 of the Constitution, one should be provided an opportunity to defend himself. Like an example, Section 7512 provides for payment of self-assessed liability. directly the department can recover such liability under section 79. So what is self-assessed liability means? You have declared the liability in GSTR 1 but not paid the same in GSTR 3B. So there was a circular in the issued by the department that you should provide the opportunity of hearing to the person to explain the reasons for difference between GSTR 1 and 3B. Then only you should be able to raise the go for the recovery under section 75. Thereafter, they have issued Rule 88C and Rule 88D, where such opportunity is being for defending the difference in GSTR 1 and 3B has been provided on the portal. So even if the law does not specifically provide for the opportunity for any demand or recovery, an opportunity of hearing shall always be given to the assessee. As we have already discussed, the appellate authority, any authority passing the order should consider the reply of the assessee and pass the reasoned order. Why he, what is the determination of basis of his order, without which such order is liable to be set aside. Time limit to pass order, as such section 73 or 74 mein there are strict guidelines to pass the order. However, in case of appellate authority, wherever it is possible to do, they can pass the order in 1 year, but this is not a mandatory guideline for passing an order. This is a recommendatory. Wherever it is possible, they can pass in 1 year. If it not passed, then extension time, they may take more time. शुरू में कुछ ऐसे केसेस थे जहां पर वी नीड थिंक द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ विड्रॉल ऑफ अपील, but these provisions were not incorporated earlier. Now a rule has been amended under GST rules, Rule 109C, wherein there is an option given to the person who has filed the appeal to withdraw such appeal. So this is a great option for the assessees. But if the APL 02, this is the acknowledgement of appeal, if it has been issued, then it would be at the discretion of the appellate authority whether he shall allow such withdrawal of appeal or not. And such option is also available on the GST portal to withdraw your appeal. Now let us understand the procedure. What is the procedure in filing appeal before first appellate authority? The procedure is prescribed under Rule 108. The form of appeal is APL 01. We should take care that correct form of appeal is selected while drafting an appeal. Mode of filing of an appeal is electronically. Manual appeal can also be filed if commissioner has notified, or electronically the order of to be appeal against is not uploaded on the common portal. अब यहाँ पर प्रैक्टिकल इश्यूज क्या होते हैं कि ऑर्डर appellate authority, adjudicating authorities has issued an order, but they have not uploaded the order on GST portal. कई बार ऐसा होता है 15 दिन बाद 20 दिन बाद अथॉरिटीज ऑर्डर अपलोड करती है और फॉर्म DRC 07 भी 15 से 20 दिन बाद क्रिएट होता है. In that case, the issue arises whether we should count the date of filing of appeal from the online uploading of the order or manual order, when the date when we have received the manual order. So यहाँ पर भी divergent views है high courts के. They have in a different writ of petition, they have decided, some high courts have allowed the appeal period to be counted from the date of uploading of the order on the common portal, or some have allowed the appeal from the date of receipt of the physical copy of the order. So this is a practical issue, and appellate authority also throughout the India are adopting different views. Like in Indore, the date of DRC 07 is considered as the date of communication of order, even if the physical order has been issued before. So we are counting the date of communication of order as the date on which the DRC 07 has been created on the portal. So this is a practical difficulty which we all are facing in filing the GST appeals. In my view, practically DRC 07 should be considered as the date of when the such DRC 07 is uploaded on the portal, because unless a detailed order is passed along with DRC 07, which is a summary order, then the procedure of that issuing an order is incomplete. The adjudication order is only complete when Form DRC 07 is issued. So when the DRC 07 is uploaded on the portal, then only that should be considered as a date of communication of the order. Another practical difficulty is, unless the DRC 07 is uploaded, how you will pay the pre-deposit? Because pre-deposit, when you will file the appeal, pre-deposit has to be made at the time of filing appeal on the GST portal. There is no other mechanism to pay pre-deposit. If you pay through DRC 03, then it will not be considered by the appellate authority. So there is another practical problem, that unless 07 is uploaded on the portal, you will not be able to make payment of the pre-deposit, which is a mandatory requirement to file an appeal. Second point is date of submission of appeal. What would be considered as a date of submission of appeal? If order of the adjudicating authority is uploaded on the portal, so there would be a provisional acknowledgement once you file the appeal. Then after some time, the appellate authority will issue APL 02, which is a final acknowledgement. In such case, the date of filing of appeal on the portal is considered as the date when the provisional acknowledgement is issued is considered as date of filing of appeal. अगर adjudication order पोर्टल पे अपलोडेड नहीं है, देन उसकी सेल्फ सर्टिफाइड कॉपी आपको विद इन 7 days में डिपार्टमेंट में सबमिट करनी होगी. Then department shall issue APL 02. In such case, the date of filing of appeal shall be considered as the provisional acknowledgement date. And if such copies are not submitted within 7 days, then the actual date of submission of that copy would be considered as the date of filing of appeal. So there were many cases जहां पर electronic appeal file होने के बाद the order is already uploaded on the portal. The department was asking the appellant to submit the copies of the order within 7 days from the date of filing of appeal. So in such cases, courts have held that if the order is electronically communicated and it's uploaded on the portal by the department, then there is no requirement to submit a physical copy of the order within 7 days of the filing of appeal, and the appeal should be allowed. Appellate authority shall pass a final summary order in GST Appeal 04 indicating the amount of demand confirmed by them. Like DRC 07 is passed by adjudicating authority, and after in the appeal, the final order has to be passed, summary order has to be passed in APL 04 by the first appellate authority. So this was all about the first appellate authority. Now let us proceed and discuss in brief the constitution of GST Tribunal and provision relating to GST Tribunal. Since GST Tribunal is not operationalized, we will not be going in much detail, but we'll have an overview of the provision relating to GST Tribunal. So there would be 2 benches of tribunal, principal bench, state bench. As we have already discussed, principal bench would be hearing the matter of place of supply, and other matters would be heard by state benches. If the amount of demand does not exceed 50 lakhs, then the single member can also hear the cases. If there are difference of opinion, the president of the tribunal may transfer the case for hearing to the third member, and majority of the decision would prevail. Who can file appeal before the GST Tribunal? Any person who is aggrieved, or commissioner may also, through his any subordinate, can also file an appeal against the order of first appellate authority. So like in first appellate authority, in GST Tribunal also, the taxpayer as well as the commissioner both can file the appeal before the GST Tribunal. I would like to discuss 2-3 important issues. Since the GST Appellate Authority has not been found, and there is a time limit of 3 months to file the appeal from the date of communication of order. So CBIC, by its circular dated 18 March 2020, has clarified that the time period shall be counted from the 3 months from the date of appointment of the president, national president or state president of the appellate authority. So even in case the 3 months from the passing of order has expired, the time limit of this 3 months to file an appeal will count as and when the president or state president of the tribunal is being appointed. There is another important update, like in erstwhile regime also, there was a monetary limit set beyond which the department will not file the appeal at the higher appellate forum. Similarly, GST में भी इस तरह का सर्कुलर इशू किया गया है. Like the department will not file the appeal in GST if the matter is below 20 lakhs, in High Court if the matter is below 1 crore, and in the Supreme Court if the item is below 2 crore. So for detail we can refer to this circular, and there are certain exceptions also. Again, here you have to pay a pre-deposit for filing appeal before GST tribunal. As of now, in the law there is a limit to pay 20% additional tax which you have paid in addition to the 10% already paid in first appellate authority. Now this section is proposed to be amended by Finance Act 2024, which provides that in addition to 10%, only 10% would be required to be paid as a pre-deposit. Means total 20%. 10% you have already paid before the first appellate authority. Now again you have to pay 10% before the GST tribunal of the disputed amount. So अब क्या हुआ, कुछ practical, just give me a break. As per section 78, there is a 3 months time limit from the date of communication of order to start recovery of the dues. अब डिपार्टमेंट ने क्या किया, कुछ केसेस में डायरेक्टली वेयर द कमिश्नर अपील का ऑर्डर पास हो चुके थे, दे स्टार्टेड रिकवरी ऑफ द अमाउंट. So the various taxpayers have approached the high courts, and they have high courts has stayed the demand of the recovery since the tribunal has not been formed, and some high courts have allowed on stay of demand by payment of 20% of the disputed demand. रिसेंटली डिपार्टमेंट ने एक सर्कुलर निकाला जिसमें उन्होंने बोला कि अगर आप जीएसटी ट्रिब्यूनल में अपील फाइल करना चाहते हैं तो पहले तो आप एक डिक्लेरेशन दे ज्यूरिसडिक्शनल टैक्स ऑफिसर को कि हम अपील फाइल करना चाहते हैं, एंड यू नीड टू पे 20% of the pre-deposit by when you on the GST portal. So some people have paid such amount by filing form DRC 03. So recently government has introduced form DRC 03A, which is required to be filed by the person who has paid the pre-deposit through form DRC 03, and this would be mapped against payment as a pre-deposit. So this is एक तरह से कह ले कि मनमानी है डिपार्टमेंट की कि जीएसटी ट्रिब्यूनल नहीं बनी है तो भी आपको 20% डिपॉजिट पे करना है फॉर स्टे ऑफ डिमांड. Though this circular clearly says that if you do not file a declaration or pay the 20% deposit, then the officer may proceed for recovery of the amount of tax due. So it is advisable that wherever commissioner appeals orders are passed, you pay the 20% of the pre-deposit in the services tab of the GST portal. In ledgers, there would be payment towards demand option, in which they would be reflecting the order against which there is a demand has been created, and you need to pay 20% there, so that your demand would be stayed, and you need to communicate or file a declaration to the jurisdictional officer of your intent to file an appeal before GST tribunal. Memorandum of cross objection: if department has filed an appeal against you, then you have the option to file within 45 days a cross objection against the appeal filed by the department. Here, like the order of tribunal has power to confirm, modify, set aside the order, and they have also power to refer back the case to the appellate authority or revisional authority or to the original adjudicating authority. Such power was not available with the GST first appellate authority. They have to decide case before them. However, GST tribunal has power to refer the case back to appellate authority as well as to original jurisdiction authority. Now let us come to the issues involved in drafting of appeal. Drafting is a very important aspect of appeal. Before drafting, we should understand what are the legal facts, understanding of the facts of the cases. Unless and until we have understood the fact, we will not be able to file our case, fight our case with the positiveness. So first step is to collect all the documents, show cause notices, reply to show cause notices along with exhibits, order, copy of exhibits, communication with the department, relied upon documents, and all such documents should be understood and read thoroughly to understand the case of the SSC. If incorrect facts are quoted in the appeal, then one may lose a trust before the appellate authority. So we should be sure that the facts enclosed before the authorities are not incorrect. All relevant facts must be disclosed in an appeal, and certain facts which are not considered by the adjudicating authority but are relevant for the case of the appellate for the litigant should be included in the appeal. While reading the order, we should identify what are the legal provisions. For example, if demand ITC has been denied, under which section ITC has been denied? Section 16(4), Section 16(2)(c), Section 16(2)AA. What are the legal provision involved while raising a demand? What are the provisions which the officer has invoked but are not applicable in our case? For example, we have availed the ITC but not utilized. Then interest is not applicable in our case. There are various judgments by the high courts where they have held that if the ITC has been taken but not utilized, no penalty shall be levied. So we need to identify what are the provisions which are not applicable to us and the department has relied upon them. There may be orders where the officers have raised the demand or passed the negative order without quoting a proper provision of the law. For example, if we see the orders of the cancellation of GST registration, they do not mention under which clause they are cancelling the registration of Section 29. They simply mention the registration is liable to be cancelled under Section 29. So the officer should quote relevant section under which he is raising a demand. We need to identify what are the curable defects, what are the non-curable defects in the order. Non-curable defects may can lead to entire adjudication proceedings to be illegal. Like agar jurisdiction ka defect hai, if the officer who is passing the order has no jurisdiction to pass such order, then all such proceedings would be considered as void ab initio and illegal. So, before initiating a litigate, taking decision to litigate, we should understand what are the merits of the case, what are the evidence which are in our favor, what are the decisions which are in our favor, what is the impact of losing the case. For example, financial burden, outflow of tax, interest, penalty, because जब तक अपील चलती रहेगी इंटरेस्ट का मीटर कभी बंद नहीं होगा. बेनिफिट क्या होंगे अगर हम डिमांड प्री शो कॉज कंसल्टेशन लाइक GRC 01 की स्टेज पे अगर हम डिमांड एक्सेप्ट कर लेते हैं तो क्या बेनिफिट होगा. लाइक you have to pay only 15% of penalty if you pay before the issuance of show cause notice. There is a 50% penalty if you pay demand within 30 days of the issuance of order. So we need to understand what are the benefit of pros and cons of accepting or defending the demand. What would be impact of accepting the liability or defending the liability on existing litigations? What would be the impact of tax position if on the tax position adopted in other law? For example, if we accepted a demand and pay the penalty would also be disallowed under the provision of income tax law, or it may also affect the litigation ongoing on the income tax law. So we need to consider what would be the impact of litigation on other statute also. then we should be consider the cost of litigation, because going to tribunal, high court, supreme court may be a substantial out of cost. As a consultant, we cannot provide an absolute assurance to the no client that you will be able to defend your case, but we may provide what is the merit, demerit of the case, and fair chances of winning or losing. But we cannot say with assurance that there would be 100% case in your favor. Apart from going to an appeal, there is an option of alternate remedy of writ also. Directly we can go to the high court before going to the first appellate authority, but writ jurisdiction can only be invoked when there is a violation of fundamental rights, or the officer who has passed the order are without the jurisdiction. He has no authority to pass such order, and he has passed such authority order. There is a violation of principle of natural justice. Then and you are challenging the rules, legal provisions, notifications, then only you can directly go to the writ petition. Since the appellate authority can only implement the law, but they cannot express their views on the validity of the law. So for such reason, for example, Rule 36(4) has been challenged in various high court. Section 16(4) has been challenged in various high court. Section 16(2)(c) has been challenged in various high court. So challenging the validity of section itself, then you can go to the high courts. Appellate authority cannot express their view on validity of the provision, but there is a risk involved. If you go to the writ petition, there may be a bar on your alternate remedy of filing an appeal. So it is a riskier, but this should be taken we have to consider very promptly whether we should go to a writ jurisdiction or not. So there is a structure of appeal. अपील का एक फॉर्म होता है. देयर इज स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट्स, ग्राउंड्स ऑफ अपील, प्रेयर, वेरिफिकेशन. सो अपील, एज वी हैव डिस्कस, अपील हैज टू बी अप्रोप्रिएट फॉर्म आपको सिलेक्ट करना होगा. And thereafter you should mention, this is the common, what are the statement of facts, grounds of appeal क्या होंगे, prayer, what relief you want to claim, and verification. The person who is filing the appeal should sign the appeal. स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट्स में क्या होता है? जनरली स्टेटमेंट ऑफ फैक्ट्स में होता है एक ब्रीफ बैकग्राउंड असेसी के बिजनेस का, वो क्या करता है और कौन से ऐसे इश्यूज हुए थे जिसकी वजह से ये प्रेजेंट अपील इट इज बीइंग फाइल्ड. फॉर एग्जांपल, ऑडिट व्हाट इनिशिएटेड, व्हाट वाज द फाइंडिंग इन द ऑडिट, देन शो कॉज नोटिस वाज इशूड, व्हाट वाज द सबमिशन इन द शो कॉज नोटिस, व्हाट वाज द ऑर्डर पास. All such event should be in a chronological event should be described in the statement of facts. Summarize the allegation in show cause notice. What are your replies? Finding is the impugned order, and you should attach the copy of all such show cause notice, reply, and order in the appeal. Appellate authority should be able to understand the brief of the case from your statement of facts. So statement of facts must be brief and should be complete so that the appellate authority understand your case in a well manner. Now we'll come to grounds of appeal. These are the grounds on which we are challenging the order of the adjudication authority. So all the possible grounds, जितने भी grounds हो सकते हैं, you should take, and you should not leave. When you are weak on the law, then you should also take the grounds where the department is weak on the facts. So maybe any one ground can give you some benefits. So all the possible grounds should be taken in appeal. Ground should be simple, clear, precise, concise. Link each ground to the reply of the show cause notice, evidence relied and apparently which were not considered in the impugned order. ग्राउंड के अंदर डिपार्टमेंट जो रीजनिंग दी है अपनी ऑर्डर में, हर ग्राउंड में यू नीड टू चैलेंज द रीजनिंग ऑफ द ऑर्डर, फाइंडिंग ऑफ द एडजुडिकेटिंग अथॉरिटी while making the grounds of appeal. Avoid using long sentences. Remember that the order cannot travel beyond the proposal in show cause notice. Wherever the order has been passed, which is on the grounds other than in the show cause notice, it should be mentioned in the grounds of appeal. So if we bifurcate grounds of appeal, there are some specific grounds of appeal and there are common grounds of appeal. Specific means relating to factual aspects and there are other legal aspects, and there are some common grounds which can be used in every appeal. So let us discuss all such grounds in detail. Like jurisdiction. First of all, you need to check whether the authority who has passed such order has the jurisdiction to pass such order. If the authority has no jurisdiction, then the entire proceedings would be null and void. And it has been held in number of cases that jurisdiction can be challenged at any stage. So we must understand whether the authority who is passing the order has the jurisdiction to pass such order. Forget about the merits of the case. If the authorities do not have the jurisdiction to initiate proceedings, then even if the demand is valid, such order is liable to be set aside because that authority has no power to initiate such proceedings. We can refer to various circular like circular number 31/5 2018, which provides the monetary limit of passing an order by superintendent, deputy commissioner or additional commissioner. Like if superintendent is passing an order above 20 lakhs, then it is without jurisdiction, because above 20 lakhs deputy commissioner or assistant commissioner has power to pass an adjudication order. So we should check whether the authority has the jurisdiction to pass such order or not. अनदर एक इशू आता है कि क्रॉस एम्पावरमेंट इन जीएसटी. सीजीएसटी ऑफिसर्स आपका जुरिस्डिक्शन सीजीएसटी में है, बट एसजीएसटी वाले ने भी कोई आपके ऊपर एक्शन इनिशिएट कर दिया. सो देयर आर वेरियस जजमेंट. If the subject matter is same, then both the authority cannot simultaneously start proceedings. There is also board circular which provides that the authority which has initiated the proceedings first, that authority will only conclude the proceedings and other authority shall drop the proceedings. So we need to understand the jurisdiction related aspects very in detail, and if order is passed without jurisdiction, we should take such ground in our grounds of appeal. Order should be signed. Mere uploading of order on the portal does not relieve an authority for signing of the order. There are cases wherein the Honorable Court have held that signing of order cannot be spent with, and an unsigned order has no validity, and they are remanded back the matter to the adjudicating authority. Service of notice. Service of notice should be served within the mode prescribed under section 169, and there is a section 160 subsection 2 which says that issues relating to service of notice cannot be raised after once the assessee has participated in adjudication proceedings or proceedings have been concluded. So if you have issues relating to service of notice, then you should highlight the same issue within the before taking participant in the proceedings, because on later stage you will not be able to challenge the service of notice. अब यहाँ पर कई इशू ऐसा भी आता है कि different high courts have allowed the appeal even if beyond 4 months on some practical aspect. For example, the order was uploaded in additional tab instead of view notices. So the department, high courts have allowed the filing of appeal because the order assessee could not know that there was some order issued in the additional tab instead of view notices and tab. So this is a specific relief granted to an assessee. So if you have not been served with the order properly, then such type of alternate remedy can also be sought for. Limitation period is very important. Before filing an appeal, just check whether the order has been passed within the time limit prescribed under the law. So this time limit is strict. If the order is passed beyond the time limit prescribed under the law, then such order is null and void. Even if the show cause notice is issued beyond the time limit prescribed under the law, then such order is null and such show cause notice is null and void. So there is a time limit like in section 7310. It is 3 years from the due date of filing of Form 9. In section 74, the time limit is 5 years from the due date of filing Form 9. Such time limits have also been extended while various notifications. Such notifications are already in challenge before various high courts. Let us not go into that, but we should understood and check whether the order passed and the show cause notice has been issued within the time limit prescribed under the law. Okay, if it is not issued, then this ground should be taken in your appeal that such proceeding is null and void because the order or show cause notice has not been issued within the time limit prescribed. We have already discussed this point. Order passed beyond show cause notice. If in the final adjudication order the authority enhances the penalty and fine, but which was not mentioned in the show cause notice, then such enhancement without giving an opportunity of being heard is wrong and it's liable to be set aside. So such ground is to be taken. For example, in show cause notice, there was 100 rupees tax, 100 rupees penalty, and interest. Now, in the final order, the appellate authority has enhanced the tax to 150 rupees, 150 rupees penalty. So, additional 50 rupees has been enhanced, which means the order has traveled beyond the show cause notice and is liable to be challenged under the appeal. If the department has not relied upon certain examination of witness or upon certain documents, such documents and witness statement should be provided to you. If such statement and relied upon documents are not provided, this should also be taken in the ground of appeal as violation of principle of natural justice, because the assessee is right to see what are the allegations against him and what are the documents which are being used against him, so that he can defend such his case. Because if for example, if an officer is relying on a statement of some other person, then that statement should be provided to the taxpayer so that he can review that statement. Next ground is factual ground is din. Every order should mention din. If there is no din, that order is null and void. So there are negative judgment in income tax, but as of now, as per the department circular, din is required to be mandatorily enclosed on the disclosed on the order. So if any order does not bears the din, then we should take this as a ground of appeal. Principle of natural justice, we have already discussed that the if opportunity of hearing has not been granted while passing the order, then you can take this ground that we were not provided the opportunity of hearing. Many high courts have set aside the order where the no personal hearing was granted. In some cases, there is an option to assessee could not click on the option for personal hearing, and the department has passed an order without hearing the assessee. Then courts have held that even if the order assessee does not ask for the personal hearing, if you are passing the adverse order, then opportunity of hearing should be given mandatorily as per section 75(5) of the GST Act. Now, grounds of appeal shall also include relevant provisions. For example, if the order has been passed in violation of section 16, then we should mention the legal provision based on which the order has been passed. For example, section 16(2)(a) was issued after 1st of January 2022, which provides for mandatorily taking credit on the basis of form GSTR 2B. So we should take this ground if for the period prior to 2022, GSTR 2A 2B has no relevance. So legal provision related grounds can also be taken while drafting an appeal. For example, under section 50, if the interest has been levied even in cases where the ITC has not been utilized, then you can always take a ground that the interest should not be levied where the ITC has not been utilized in terms of provision of section 50. So these are the example we should take while drafting the grounds of appeal. There might be certain interpretational issue, like we have already discussed, eligibility of ITC by owners of mall against GST on renting services, applicability of GST under RCM on ocean freight, industry-wide classification issue, whether royalty is a tax and whether GST is payable under RCM. Such interpretational issues, we should highlight the various judgment of the courts where the different view has been adopted, and we should defend our case that these are the interpretational issues, and in such cases penalty should not be levied because there is no intent to evade payment of tax. There might be issues of procedural less. For example, credit has been denied for not mentioning GST number on the invoice of the by the seller. So this is a mere procedural lapse. GST number, if there is a valid invoice, mere non-mentioning of GST number on the invoice, the credit should not be denied to the buyer. Or while submitting a refund application, the applicant missed to file one of the important document required along with the refund application. Then in such a refund shall not be denied for non-submission of any document. It should be a deficiency memo should be issued instead of rejecting the refund claim of the assessee. So we need to identify what are the procedural lapses based on which we have got the adverse order, and we should quote that this procedural lapses should not result in denial of substantial benefit under the law. There may be issues relating to computational aspects of the demand. For example, the rate of tax applicable in the demand is 5%, but department has calculated the demand at the rate of 12%. Then you need to counter why there might be a change in rate of tax, but department is collecting tax on the old rate. So we should challenge the computational aspects of the demand also. Interest has been calculated on the gross amount of GST, gross amount of payment of liability on a late filing of return. However, the law has been amended. Now interest is only to be charged on the net liability amount after reducing the available ITC. So all these computational aspects should be considered while drafting the grounds of appeal. One other important issue is extended period of limitation. ये सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम आता था प्रीवियस लॉ में भी और नए लॉ में भी कि नॉन फ्रॉड केसेस में टाइम लिमिट है 3 years एंड फॉर द फ्रॉड केसेस टाइम लिमिट है 5 years. तो डिपार्टमेंट wherever they miss the time limit of section 73 non fraud cases, they invoke the extended period of limitation and they raise the demand under section 74. So now from the financial year 24-25, they are introducing section 74A, which provides for a same timeline for adjudication of order in fraud cases and non-fraud cases. For the financial year up to 23-24, there are different timelines for concluding a case. तो सबसे ज्यादा इश्यूज होता है कि जहां डिपार्टमेंट 73 की टाइमलाइन मिस कर देता है, दे इशू द नोटिस इन सेक्शन 74. बट सेक्शन 74 में जाने के लिए दे नीड टू प्रूव कि द टैक्स वाज नॉट पेड विद एन इंटेंट टू फ्रॉड, willful misstatement or suppression of facts, and this has to be proved by the department. So such ground can be extended, any notice can be challenged on the ground of extended period of limitation. Such grounds can be interpretational issue. अगर कोई issue interpretational का issue है जिसमें courts के different view है, तो the allegation of fraud, willful suppression, misstatement cannot stand. क्योंकि अगर कोई disputed issue है, इसमें पूरी industry wide issue है, तो no one can, department cannot allege that there is a fraud or willful misstatement. There are contradictory judgment of the court, then in a case also there cannot be no extended period of limitation. Industry wide practice है तो भी you cannot allege the fraud or willful suppression of tax. If the payment of tax is a revenue neutral, then also if the department is in such cases also extended of period of limitation cannot be invoked. If assessee was under bona fide belief that they are not liable to pay tax, this ground can also be taken. If the facts are already known to the department during the audit, then department cannot after a period of time allege that there was a willful suppression or there was a fraud or there was a clerical error while submitting the returns. Okay, so department has to prove what are the grounds of fraud, willful misstatement, and these are the grounds which we can defend that the extended period of limitation is not invocable. Even if the cases are strong on merits, but department is not able to prove the allegation of fraud or willful misstatement, the tribunals in the erstwhile regime has set aside the demand order only on the basis of extended period of limitations. One more common ground which may take in appeal is come tax benefit. Whatever demand has been raised, for example, there was a item which was liable to GST and reflected in other items, other income. Then appeal should be made to the department that we have not received anything over and above from the customer. So if we have received shown the 100 rupees income, it should be considered as inclusive of tax, and tribunals in the erstwhile regime has allowed such benefit. The tax should be calculated 100 divided by 1.18 into 18% instead of directly applying 100% on the 18% on the rupees 100. Now, interest related point should also be generally we do not many of the cases we do not defend such ground, but interest related point should also be included in grounds of appeal. If the demand itself is not unsustainable, then the demand of if the demand of tax itself is unsustainable, then interest cannot be levied. Interest cannot be levied when the ITC was availed but not utilized. Interest should be charged on net tax liability in case of delay of filing of return. So these are the grounds which may defend take in case of interest liability. Additional grounds. We can always take additional grounds before the appellate authority, and appellate authority may allow such additional grounds if it found sufficient and it would cause injustice. Additional evidence can also be produced before appellate authority subject to provisions of Rule 112. And in the interest of the justice, the tribunals in the erstwhile regime has also allowed the production of additional evidence because it is the last fact-finding authority. So generally, we have to make a specific request why additional evidence are to be allowed at the stage of tribunal. Other aspects in filing appeal, all grounds which have been taken in show cause notice must be taken in appeal also. Additional grounds can also be taken. Address all the findings of the authority, whatever allegations has been made by the authority, we should counter all such allegations, provide all the evidences in relation to our submission, review the case law. Department might have also quoted certain case law. We should review all such case law, why such case laws are not applicable in our case. Burden of proof in general is always on the person who's make allegations. Like in classification of goods services, department has burden to prove that there is a wrong classification. In case of fraud, misinterpretation, existence of mens rea, department has the onus to prove, burden of proof. But in case of claiming an exemption, why this exemption is applicable to us, the assessee has the burden of proof. Even if the burden of proof is on the department, the assessee should provide all reasonable evidences so that he can defend his case. Now, burden of proof in case of ITC is always on the assessee in terms of section 155 of the GST Act. So if you are claiming an ITC, department is alleging that this ITC ineligible, then burden of proof is always on the taxpayer. Recently, a judgment has been passed by Supreme Court in case of Ecom Gill, wherein they have told that apart from payment channel and the invoice, the assessee should also able to provide other documentary proofs regarding the movement of goods like bilty, transportation documents. So to claim his no genuineness of the ITC. So this judgment has been heavily relied by the department in many cases, but we need to understand the facts of each case and whether this judgment can be relied upon or not, or whether it can be distinguished in our case. So in general, we should keep all the records relating to claiming of ITC like e-way bill, bilty copy, payment, ledger, confirmation from the clients, purchase orders, sales order. So this all will be able to defend our case, because in case of ITC, the burden of proof of the genuine of transaction is on the taxpayer. So now let us understand something about legal research. So before, once you have decided the ground of appeal, you need to understand the research your case. What are the judgments in your favor? What are the judgment in your against? You can use the various authenticated sources like Excus, Manupatra, Vet India Online. These are the website for the research of your case law. All positive case law should be quoted. Negative case law should also be considered so that we can defend our case in the court. We can also refer to commentary of law or practice manual, which would be updated as on date, which would be helpful for our preparation. We, upon citing of judgment, we should not cite the judgment which has already been overruled by the higher authority. For example, a judgment of a tribunal has been overruled by the High Court, so we cannot make reliance on the judgment of the tribunal. If stay has been granted in respect of such judgment cannot be relied. Instead of relying upon the head note of the judgment, we should read overall judgment, then also come to conclusion whether we should include such judgment in our appeal or not. Try to find out some case law which are applicable in your jurisdiction High Court. For example, if you are in MP, then try to find out some favorable case law in the state of MP which are binding on the adjudicating authority. The authorities are a quasi-judicial authority, and they are bound by the orders of the higher appellate authorities. Case law from the erstwhile regime can also be taken, because the law relating to service tax or VAT, there are similar provisions in GST also. So we can take principles from the erstwhile regime case laws also. Court relevant circulars. Circulars are binding on the department, not on the assessee. Court relevant sections, rules for ease of reference in italic. Section, it has to be ensured that the sections are updated, or the applicable period should be mentioned. We should always quote the section which was applicable during the relevant period. Once this all are prepared, a prayer should be made. Ultimately, what you want from the appellate authority should also be mentioned in prayer, like you want the order to be set aside. You request the authority to add, alter, modify your submission, to produce fresh evidence, to provide opportunity of being heard, any other relief that the authorities may please to grant. Now, regarding the formatting of the appeal should be having same font throughout the draft. Generally, size of the letter should be 12. Document spacing should be 1.15. Like in tribunal, they have they have a different format. There, the line spacing is 1.5. So it depends upon case to case where you are filing an appeal. Generally, in commissioner appeals, there is no such rule, so you can keep it at 1.15. It is a decent way of spacing. Always, all the paragraphs should be justified. Relevant extract of the judgments or provisions of the section should be mentioned in italics. Or alignment and bullet spacing should be standard. Each para should be serially numbered. Numbering should be done on each page. There should be minimum number of words or sentence. The appeal should not be repeating of words. Each sentence must be clear, precise, and should not be repeating. Generally, the golden rule is that one paragraph, if you are writing one paragraph, that should include one idea. Not more than 9 paras in one topic or heading, not more than 6 sentences in one para, or not more than 9 substances in word in a statement. Appeal generally before the commissioner appeals lies in 2 sets, and for the tribunal it would be rules would be notified. Generally in sestet it is 4 sets. Appeal memorandum should be properly verified, and set of appeal should be properly indexed, and it should be like a stitch in a booklet so that it is easy to handle or carry. Uh, Representations before the authority. So ensure that you have valid authorization to appear before the authority. When you are appearing before the authority, prepare the short notes so that noting the page number of the important paras exhibit so that you can effectively show to the appellate authority. Explain the entire case. A synopsis of your appeal can also be prepared, which can help the appellate authority and you to present your case beautifully. Give emphasis on the points that are directly in your favor, and also take a compilation of all statutory provisions, case law, circular which have been relied upon by you. A bunch can be created where all legal provisions and case law are bunched, and one copy can be provided to appellate authority. Apart from this, let us try to understand the what are the no practical what we have discussed, the uh, what should be, how should be appeal statement of facts, how the judgment should be quoted in an appeal. Let us now first see the format of the appeal. APL 01, we have discussed that there is a specific format. This format has been prescribed under the rule 108. The appeal before the first appellate authority has to be in this format only. Now I will show you one drafted appeal. This is the appeal to appellate authority. Who is the party? He is the appellant. Who is the respondent? GSTN number, legal name, trade name, address, order number. These all should be filled. Name of the authorized representative, detail of the case under dispute, what are the brief facts of the cases, period of dispute, amount of dispute, whether the appellant wishes to be heard in person. So let us come to the second page. This is the statement of facts. As we have discussed, we should maintain what is the business of the SSE. The appellant purchases tendu leaves from MP Forest Produce and T&D Limited, and thereafter supplies such goods to various customers. Thereafter, we should chronologically mention the events which have led to filing of this appeal. For example, in this case, a scrutiny of was initiated under Section 61. What were the grounds in the scrutiny? What was the reply filed in the scrutiny? What was the allegations made in the show cause notice? What on what basis the order has been passed should be mentioned in the statement of facts. Thereafter, the appellate authority proceeded to form the impute order. Then, after the statement of facts, we should mention the grounds of appeal. Like the grounds of appeal in the stated case are quantification of demand of reversal of IT is incorrect, recovery of ITC only on account of mismatch in Form GSTR 2 and Form GSTR 3B is in violation of the provision of Act and rules. All such grounds can be mentioned in brief summary. Thereafter, you can proceed for detailed grounds. Like if you want to quote certain judgment is to be quoted like this. The relevant para of the judgment can be in italics and can be highlighted. If you see the formatting of the draft, it is justified. Before closing grounds of appeal, you should mention the summarize what exactly you have submitted in the grounds of appeal. This is the prayer after the grounds of appeal. You need to mention the prayer, what relief you want from the authority, and this is the form, again form, what is the amount of demand created, admitted, disputed, and there is a condonation of delay. If there is a delay of 1 month, after 3 months you can file a condonation of delay. You should mention what is the number of days of delay and what are the reason for delay. We can see a copy of the condonation for just a reference. I think it's not working. Just so in that appeal set only, you need to mention the what are the, for example in this case there was a delay of 28 days, and what are the grounds of delay. In this case the appellant was not good at health. Yes, no attached is certificate of the doctor. Another ground which has he has mentioned is his registration was cancelled, and it would be in violation of Article 19(1)(g), right to do carry trade and professions, and there is substantial justice and technical consideration. There are merits in the cases, and injustice would be done if the appeal is not allowed. So this grounds of delay has to be mentioned in your appeal. After that, a person who is filing the appeal shall verify the appeal. Director authorized representative shall sign the appeal. Other things that would I like to show, that appeal it should be properly indexed. We should obtain a proper authorization letter from the client before filing an appeal. If there is a company, then board resolution of the person who is authorizing us should also be attached. This we discussed that when we will be filing an appeal, a provisional acknowledgement would be issued online. Thereafter, a final acknowledgement is issued once the authority verifies that appeal is proper in timeline, all pre-deposit have been paid. Then the appellate authority is issued form APL 02. This is a provisional acknowledgement, and this is a final acknowledgement. If order is uploaded online, then this date of filing of provisional issuance of provisional acknowledgement would be considered as date of filing of appeal. Now let us just have a chance to know if we can show how the portal seems to be there while filing a GST appeal. ID password. We can use an ID password. We'll show you how the portal we can file the appeal, a demo on the portal itself. So you can go to services, user applications, my applications. Then you can select here appeal to appellate authority. Then click on new applications. Whether the demand pertains to multiple financials here, no. Enforcement order, here you have to write the order number. Just let me check the order number first.
Hello, Ankit ji. Please share your screen, sir. Hello.
Let me connect once to Ankit ji.
Just a minute. I'm no entering the order number.
Sure.
Participants, please wait the same. Ankit is rejoining in a few minutes.
We request all participants to send a feedback at the GSTCORNOR@gmail.com for the webinars.
And the poll is also going in this webinar. Please rating us. Thank you.
Is the screen is visible?
Yes, Ankit ji.
So once you enter the demand order number, this windows open. So there is a order number, order date. You need to date of communication of order. This can be changed from here. If you have this is the date of actual date of order. You can change if you have communicated there after such date. So this is editable. Okay, if you have received the order on 2205 uploaded on portal on this, generally what authority do, they mention here the date of order itself. They do not mention the date of communication of order. So this is editable. You can mention the type of dispute, like misclassification of goods, wrong applicability of notification, incorrect determination of value of goods, incorrect admissibility of input tax credit. Okay, so you need to add what are your grounds. You can add more than one grounds also. Okay, what was the period of dispute? It is automatically generated. Okay, you can upload your APL 01 form like we saw. Just we are doing for the sake of convenience, like this. Other supporting documents exhibits should be attached here. Like if, for example, this is an our exhibit. So one exhibits can be clubbed in one file and can be attached. Okay, so this how the documents are attached. Okay, and here how you need to pay the pre-deposit. Go to disputed amount and payment details. Okay, so here the amount of demand created is already mentioned. Okay, so you need to mention here what is the amount you are disputing. For example, you are disputing only 50,000 in relation to a matter. So you can mention here what you are disputing, right? What amount of penalty you are disputing, what penalty. Once you write this, so whatever amount you have admitted, like 1 lakh, out of 1 lakh of demand, we have admitted, we are disputing 50,000. Then rest 51,000 will come in amount of admitted demand, and then this amount you have to pay 100%, and disputed amount is 50,000. Then we have to pay only 10% of the disputed amount here. Okay. So after clicking this amount, this will take to another tab wherein we can use whether it will show the balance in cash ledger, it will show the balance in credit ledger. So you can mention how much amount you are utilizing through cash ledger. You can mention how much amount you are utilizing through ITC ledger. And once you set off this, your pre-deposit would be paid. So I'm not currently setting off this. Okay, once this is amount pre-deposit has been paid, you have uploaded the APL 01 supporting documents. You need to verify the appeal, mention who is the authorized signatory, and you can proceed to file. You can file with EBC or DSC. So this is the online procedure of filing an appeal. It's very simple. Just we need to focus upon the drafting of appeals and uploading of documents, and here it is very easy. Payment of demand also, we can pre-deposit is also allowed on portal only. So it's a very simple process on portal. The second issue is if the document size is large, here maximum 4 supporting documents of 5 MB each can be supplied. So if there are a large document, you can always submit the hard copies of additional documents along with your appeal. It is here mentioned that the remaining documents can be handed over in hard copy if there is a constraint of the size of the order. I'm logging. Anything anyone want to ask regarding this procedure? Any issue on online portal? I'm logging out this order. One more thing that I would like to show to you regarding the pending amount. How to know we show the any amount outstanding against us. So if you go to the ledger, you will find payment towards demand. If we do not want to dispute the demand, or Commissioner Appeals order has already been passed and you want to pay 20% pre-deposit for the tribunal, then you can go to outstanding demand and select and pay the whatever amount you want to pay against this outstanding demand. So it is always advisable that if you are paying anything against outstanding demand, you have to come here in ledgers and outstanding demand. Then only you have to pay through this mechanism only. Do not pay through DRC03. Otherwise, this demand would be remain outstanding on the portal, and you have already paid through DRC03. Then it would be difficult to map such demand with the outstanding demand. So it is always advisable to pay through this mechanism. I think this is all from my side for the today's session. Thank you very much for your patience listening.
Arpit, please unmute yourself. Arpit, please unmute.
Ankit ji, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
We'll take up one short query session. The chat box is there on the right hand side. The first query is from Mr. Sanjeev Ji. Users are requested to post the query in the chat box. PPT will be made available. Apart from PPT, users can ask the queries.
Sanjay ji, regarding your query, if the assessment is pending and officer is asking you to pay the demand under protest, no, he cannot insist upon you to pay the demand under protest unless any order has been passed. You need not to pay any demand. Even after passing of order for the recovery of demand, there is a time period of 3 months. Under exceptional circumstances, only department can recover the demand before 3 months. So unless an order is passed, one cannot force you to pay the demand. And like under protest, there is no facility on the GST portal where you can mention this demand is paid under protest. It happens in the search and seizure proceedings that the department forces us to pay the certain amounts, and afterwards, under the pressure, once the assessee has paid, they apply for the refund, and they mention that it was recovered under the force and without any basis. So high courts have allowed refund of such amount paid at the time of search. And literally speaking, as of there is no provision to pay such demand under protest or something. Department cannot pressurize you unless the demand order is passed.
Ankit, the next question is that if we are going to change the date on the portal while uploading the appeal, that is the communication one. Right. So we need to upload any proof of receipt of the order?
No, as if you want to upload, you can upload. Otherwise, you can present it before when you submit the hard copy. Like on speed post, if you have received through speed post, you can provide a copy. They will verify the data while issuing APL 02. They will verify the date of communication of the order, and if there is some discrepancies, they will communicate you before rejecting the appeal. At that time also, you can produce the same, or you can also submit the same along with physical copy of the order.
Next question is from Yash Jain. The point was not mentioned in the SCN, yet order was issued for that point. First, appellate authority is denying to drop the demand due to procedural lapse. Do we have any option to contest this?
So this is always an issue that the authorities go beyond the demand, but we should contest this point because this point we have not got the opportunity to defend this point. But the appellate authority here is also a fact-finding authority. Here you can defend that demand. So there is always a dispute. However, you can challenge this ground that this demand is going beyond the show cause notice and it is in violation of section 75 subsection 7, and you can defend such demand at the higher appellate authority level.
The next question is from Mr. Shugam. In my case, PO issued only SCN under section 74 but not issued or attached DRC 01 along with SCN. So whether it is a valid notice under section 74?
No, it is not a valid notice. DRC 01 is a mandatory document to upload on the portal. The process is complete when the DRC 01 is also uploaded, in my view. If DRC 01 is not uploaded, then how the officer would quantify the demand? Quantification of demand is done in 01. So this is again void notice.
Next question is, for the earlier period, 20% input division of GST 2A were allowed annually. Can we appeal for excuses ITC availing excess?
Sorry?
For the earlier periods, 20% input division of GST 2A were allowed annually. Okay. Can we appeal for excuses ITC availing excess?
Yeah, actually, Rule 36(4) has been challenged in various high courts on the grounds that there is no act provisions in the act, like section 16(2)AA was amended after the 1st of January 2022. So unless there is a restriction in the act, rules cannot curtail the right of the assessee to avail the ITC. So on all these grounds, you can defend your case. First, that it is already challenged before various high court. Second, there is no provision in the act to restrict such availment of ITC. And there might be genuine errors. You can ask for the certificate from the supplier if he has paid the tax and committed any error while uploading the returns. So these are the grounds of defense.
Next, if pre-deposit for appeal wrongly been by DRC01, what is the option available in such case for submission of appeal?
Pre-deposit has been made through DRC01. DRC01, DRC03 might be.
Yeah, there is a question by Sanjeev Ji. Okay, we'll take to the next question. I have paid taxes against DRC01 through DRC03. GST has passed order for interest and penalty. How to handle that appeal case in view of recommendation amnesty providing 53rd council meeting?
You have already paid the tax
against DRC01 through DRC03.
Okay.
So, is there any amnesty scheme available? Recommendation by 53 council
if
meeting.
order is passed under section 73, you have already paid the tax. There would be waiver of interest and penalty. The notification is yet to be awaited. How this amnesty scheme will operate. Section 128A has been introduced, but it yet to be notified, and a notification is yet to be issued for the procedure.
The
section 74 liability is not covered under section this amended section 128A. Only 73 related cases are covered. That is to be understood.
Next question is appeal is not submitted in due time because of GST portal glitch. After resolving the issue, we submitted the appeal which was rejected by authority. What to do now?
So actually, you have to prove. You can file a writ petition because there is no alternate remedy, and tribunal is also not there. So you can show to the writ authorities that there was a technical glitch. There are a sufficient ground for delay in filing an appeal. If the High Court may grant some relief, there are positive and negative both types of judgment. And in specific issues, the High Courts have allowed the filing of appeal even beyond 4 months. RPG are mute.
It is compulsory to pay 5% of disputed amount. Can set off from credit ledger?
No, 10 at the first appellate authority, you have to pay 10%, and you can set it off from the credit ledger also. We have discussed in the appeal.
Okay. So that was the question from the audience. So Ankit ji, it was a very, very challenging topic, and you deliberated very, very better. The best the audience have seen right now. So we just want to inform the audience. You can stay us soon. In the coming months, we are launching a new webinar or new course for the specialized drafting skills. It will be in the whole based on the practical. Are you audible?
Yes, sir, please, you are audible.
Yeah. So it was a very, very great session. The approx 185 participants were there in this webinar today. So Ankit ji has expressed their thoughts very beautifully, and we are looking more forward for Ankit ji. Ankit ji, can you able to hear him?
Yeah. So thank you very much, audience, for your patience listening. And thank you very much, GST Corner, for providing this platform and interacting with the various your viewers. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you, Ankit ji.
Thank you, RPG and Ankit ji. Now we are closing the webinar. Okay. Thank you very much, participants, for listening us. Thank you very much.
तुमको 5 मिनट चाहिए मेरे चल रहा है वेबिनार.